Hey guys, appreciate y'all coming back to the channel. Just a little update this week. We're not really going to fix anything, just kind of give you a status on what's in the shop, what you haven't seen, what you're going to be seeing coming up. We've got a lot of projects going on. As always, I try to keep it moving. We've got a little 99 Recon here. Yep, going to do some work on that. Just finished working on this beautiful 06 Honda 350 here. Look at that thing. That is a That's a tractor. That's a little red tractor is what that is. That's a beast of a four-wheeler. Got an update on the yard sale 350X. Got some big projects and plans coming up for that. All right, hey guys, welcome back to the shop. I am testing out a new rig here. We got a new mic, we got a new camera actually, new batteries. It's all new. So a little early Christmas present. So I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I did. Enjoyed time with the family and had a good meal or two, or three with some leftovers. But the shop is a mess, and I have got a lot of things in here that y'all haven't seen. So I'm just going to kind of give you a recap. I don't know if we're going to fix anything today or not. It's raining. It's going to be raining all week end for the next 3 or 4 days. So that's going to kind of limit what we can film out here in the shop. Certainly won't be doing any riding videos. But let me know, what do you think about the audio and the video for that matter? It looks good on the front lens here. So we're shooting this in 4K, 30 frames a second for any of the nerds out there. It's also kind of a boosted audio and video setting. So this is just kind of a test. But check this out. So this is actually a family member's of mine. I love the story. I think I like the stories as much as anything else. This is my uncle's machine, and he brought it to me. He he asked me, he says, "Do you work on them four-wheelers?" I said, yeah, we work on four-wheelers too. He's not a big fan of the channel. He says he doesn't have time for YouTube. So he's gonna help us make content. So what we have here is a 1999 one owner 250 Recon. It has been sitting in the barn, literally, as you can tell. That's barn dust. We're gonna take all that off and sell it on eBay. I hear you can get a lot for barn dust. But this thing is just a little time capsule here. I don't even know where it all opens up. Look at all this. He's got the original manuals back here. There's a spider. We have the original owner's manual. He keeps it right here in the back. Look at that. Isn't that's cool, isn't it? Yeah, that is cool. There's the original tool kit, Preston. I know you were looking. Got an extra spark plug too. Look at that right there. So this is a real cream puff here. What's the problem? Why is it here, you wonder? Well, it's here because it doesn't want to idle. It runs fine once it's warmed up, but this is real typical. So I thought, yeah, bring it in. We'll fix it up a little bit. We got an air filter we're gonna put on it, and we're gonna put some tires on this one. He's asked me to put some tires on it, so we're gonna get some just basic replacement tires, nothing real crazy. This machine never leaves his property, and this, I got to tell you, this is the kind of machine you want to buy. One owner, well cared for, under a cover. I know the seats, the covers pulled back, but that's part of being 1999. It was here. Look at that. Look at that. It doesn't want to idle, but she runs fine. Forward, reverse, all the lights work. So we're going to take it apart. We're going to figure it out. I'm pretty sure we all know what's wrong with it if you've watched this channel any length of time. We're going to pull the carb on this one. I think the problem's going to be probably that run jet, or excuse me, that idle jet is probably plugged up. It's been sitting, very common. All right, so I'm working with a new camera here. It's got some new buttons and new features. This is a GoPro 11. Pretty much this entire channel has been filmed on GoPro 9. So I am kind of a GoPro guy. I like that you can stay in a certain range of cameras and everything changes over. your batteries, your hookups, your connections, your mics, everything. So kind of real big on that. This one, the screen kept wanting to go dark, and I couldn't tell if I was recording or not. So I we had to stop and start over. So if you're wondering, that's what's going on. This actually has what's called a media mod, which is just a case that has a built-in microphone. And so it's giving me an LED readout on the audio of this, and I'm hoping we'll find out tonight in editing if it's any better than what I had before. I hope so. I got high hopes for it. So where were we? 99 Recon. We're gonna just basically do a tune-up. I think we'll change the oil on it. We'll put an air filter in it. There's really no point in doing one and not doing the other. Battery's good. We're gonna clean the car. We're gonna put a set of tires on it, and I'm gonna go in and order those tonight. Probably they'll be here in a couple of days. But that's some content coming up. I mean, just look how straight this thing is. One owner, really just never abused four-wheeler. If this is what you look for, original tires all the way around. They're plugged, they're wore out, they're dry rotted and leaking, but they're original, and it just kind of tells the story about how these machines were taken care of. If you're in the market for a four-wheeler, I highly recommend you take your time and slow down. And I get caught up on this a lot. Slow down and look for a machine like this compared to anything that's got a snorkel hanging out of the top of it. Yeah, I got a thing about snorkels. So while we're waiting on tires for that one, this one came in. Now I've already fixed this one. It's already ready to go. This is my neighbor's. This is really not a four-wheeler. As you can tell, this is like a tractor. I mean, my goodness, this thing, it's got a spray rig here on the front, and I would really rather it be on the rear, but they haul their kids around with them, and so I completely get that. That's where the kid sits. But these spray rigs, they really, I know they're more convenient on the front, but wow, are they heavy. This is a 15-gallon one here, and you can just feel it on the way to the front of this, on the front of this machine. So this one came in. Wow, look at these tires. Yeah. So I think he's gonna get rid of this one. He wanted me to kind of go over it before he made a decision if he was gonna keep it or not. It's second or third owner. It does have a rear disc brake conversion on the back, which if you're not familiar with those, are definitely worth doing. These machines, unfortunately, brakes is their biggest thing. You've got a hydraulic drum brake in the front on both sides, and it did have had a mechanical or a cable operated drum brake on the rear. Now he's since converted that over to a cable operated brake, which is definitely an improvement. That's probably the biggest gripe about these machines, is braking is just not that good. Now that said, these are not sports machines. These are really trail machines, or really work machines around the house or the farm. This one has got the ESP. It's selectable four-wheel drive. It's also selectable how you change your gears. You can actually put it in D for drive and just go, and put it in R for reverse, and I mean, it's just that simple. Or in like a true automatic, like an automatic in your car, or you can have where you can shift the gears manually, but you still have an automatic clutch. So this is just got a ton of options. It's a really nice machine. It's well taken care of. As you can see, I don't think it's got 2,000 hours or so. 2,800 hours on that. Let's see, we have a little choke. There you go. So there's not a lot of work that has to be done on these. Fine machine. But this one came in and the left front brake had locked up on it, and so I had to kind of go through and fix the brake and get it unseized. And it did have a fueling issue. It would run for a while and then cut off. And so after hearing it do that once or twice, I was pretty certain what it was going to be. And what it ended up being was a bad fuel sock or petcock sock or pickup screen, whatever you want to call it. And as you see, it just crumbled as I took it apart. That's the top of it, that's the bottom. Now this was an inline filter that I actually put in some years ago on this machine. And as you see how dirty it is. And then here's the fuel that came out of the tank. You see all the debris, I just like that word, hanging out in the bottom there. It's just old. It's not, the fuel is just not good at this point. that congealed fuel you see floating around the bottom looks kind of like a jellyfish or something down there. What happens, and this is just part of having stuff. It happened to my tractor, it's happened to personal, you know, equipment. When equipment sits, the fuel goes bad, and you can get non-ethanol, and that's what you should use. But if you only use your machine once a week, and you only put fuel in it once every 3 or 4 months, then that fuel that sits on the bottom, excuse me, that fuel that sits on the bottom has been there a long, long time. Again, this machine is not exactly new either. I think this is an 06. So it's been around the block for a few days, the kids say. I think this is an 06. I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments. But it's about that generation. I've had one of these once before. Nice machines, just really a lot of cool features. The selectable four-wheel drive is really nice. It really is good. Automatic, I could take or leave, but the selectable four-wheel drive, I really like how smooth that system is. There's no clicks, bangs, or anything like that. You flip a switch, and the clutch engages on it, and you go. So that's what's new in the shop, as in equipment that y'all haven't seen, but I've got an update. And so the old yard sale 350X, yeah, I took it out on the track. I haven't even washed it. I'm a bad owner. I'm a bad parent. But the 350X, I took it out on the track, and I made about, I don't know, 3 or 4 laps. Just, you know, I was going to kind of blow the dirt off of it, and then I was going to bring it back in, wash it, and put it up. And that was the plan. And about the 3rd lap, I noticed something. I noticed the clutch was slipping. And so it rode all day out there in the National Forest. And then I get it home, and like 3 or 4 laps, I start noticing the clutch just lets go. And so the clutch had always been soft on the machine, even when I got it, you'd pull the clutch in, and when you let out on the clutch, you wouldn't start moving until probably about there. And that's all you really had, was just that last little bit. And it's not that the cable's stretched, and it's not misadjusted. That's just all the clutch that it had left. And I knew that going in to the ride. It never slipped, but it was definitely at the end of its service life. So the clutch went out. I've got the clutch in the house. We're going to do a clutch on this one. If you've missed it, I have done a clutch on one of these before. But for those of y'all that maybe missed that video or can't find it or something like that, we're going to do some upgrades on this one. So this is definitely going to be a machine that I want to keep around for a while. And for that reason, we're going to address some of the flaws that it has that you may or may not know, or I may not have addressed with you. So it's an 85. It is a metal tank, which I love the metal tanks. I hate the rust of a metal tank. So if you have a good tank, take care of it. They're hard to find in good shape, and they are expensive if you have to go buy one. As you can see, this tank is just amazing on the inside. It's got a few little dents in it, but the inside is just incredible. I mean, look at the cap. It's great. So if you've got a nice metal tank, it's great. I got burned on a metal tank early on, and it kind of swore off of them. But if you know, it just depends on what you have. But anyways, so 1985 350X still has the dust on it from our ride. I'm going to wash it before we tear into it. But one of the problems with this machine, and I think it's probably why it got let go or parted with, is we've got a bent fork. Now, riding the machine, you may be able to, I don't know if I can hold this camera still enough for you to see that all in one shot or not, but to ride it, you've got to turn the handlebars like that. Now that's straight. If you look at the handlebars, they are clearly turned, and they are turned a pretty good amount. You know, maybe 2 inches in that way and maybe 2 inches out that way. Not terrible. I got to tell you, I rode it all day. It was never an issue. Never once did it bother me, other than when you point it out to yourself and go, oh yeah, those are bent. And it's not the bars. It's not the bars that are bent. It is the forks that are bent. Okay. So what we've got here is I've ordered up some goodies. We have got a dial indicator here. This is brand new out of the UPS. We got a dial indicator. We're going to set up those forks, and we're going to put them in a press, and we're going to figure out which one of them's bent, and we're going to straighten it. We got some fork oil, so we're going to go ahead and drain the oil out of our forks and put some new fork oil in it. And Curtie has sent me some fork seals to put new seals in the top of the forks as well. So Curtie, thank you very much. Any guys, if you're looking for fork seals, check out 223cycles.net. He'll hook you up. Y'all be sure and go by there and check out his site. He's got everything you need, fork boots and fork seals, which we'll be putting new seals in this one when we go through the forks. But one of these forks is bent, and so I did put a tape measure on it, and one of them is out of whack. So that's a project coming up. That'll probably be the next true video. This video is just really kind of a test of the camera, and I'll be honest with you, I took Thanksgiving off and got lazy all of a sudden. So no, I've been really busy at work, and so I just didn't have time. So this here, the elephant in the room for me, is a cooler. Yeah, I know. This has actually got the Suzuki LT engine in it, and it is going out to be rebuilt to my good friend Matt, and that's how you ship an engine. You fill it up. What we're going to do here next is we're going to shoot some probably 3 or 4 inch screws, and I'm going to put some screws all the way around this, and then we're going to wrap the whole thing up with shrink wrap. But I want to keep the handles out and accessible. I used to work at UPS, so handles are always accessible, are always good. And you know, we're talking probably 75, 80 pounds there. So definitely something you want to have a good handle on. But let's see, what else do we have going on in the shop? So we've got a full bushing kit for this, for all the suspension on the LT. It's coming back to the channel, y'all. I know I pushed it in the corner, and yeah, it's just impulse buy, and we're gonna have to kind of spend our way out of it. I hate to say that, but that's true. We got new brakes for this. We've got a new master cylinder for this. This master cylinder is sticking. It's not right. So we're gonna swap it out. I've got a replacement for it. We are gonna keep the original brake line. That is just, you know, one of the iconic things about this machine. So that's coming up. Probably the next big video is going to be a clutch. It's going to be fork boots and a straightening of a bent fork. That's going to be a video all by itself. We're going to put brakes on it and a clutch on the 350X, the yard sale. Now, that being said, one of the things you do when you have multiple of the same machines, and we're going to do some swapping around of parts, and it's just, you know, it's just part of having. If you have the same machine, generally you have a favorite, and that favorite probably gets all the accessories and gets all of the better parts, the nicer wheels, the nicer tires. And so we've got 3 350Xs in the shop, and so we are going to take the best of at least, well, we're going to take the best of the 3, and everybody's going to get something a little different. And so probably this one right here, we're going to pull the super trap off of it, and we're going to pull the 400EX carburetor off of that one, and then those parts are going to find their way over to the yard sale 350X. So it'll have the super trap, it'll have the 400EX carburetor on it. But as for the 350X, the original code red, I probably am not going to change it much. I was going to take it to the National Forest, and I kind of found myself questioning the tires. Those are vintage tires, if you will. They're pretty old. They're not dry rotted, but I just did not want to take that machine out to the National Forest and have something silly like just, you know, a blowout. And now have gone out there, I'm glad I didn't. High speed runs, just mile after mile of riding. I just didn't know what to expect. And so I'm kind of glad I didn't take those out. Let's see, some of the things are missing. Y'all are missing the Big Red. The Big Red, the 84 with the 200M front end. It's gone. I let that go. I am trying to pare down. Probably gonna maybe part with 1 or 2 more to just kind of get down to a manageable number of machines. You know, one of the things is when you have collections of anything is the upkeep of those collections. Batteries and tires and oil changes and carbs cleaned, and I don't want to get to the point right now, and this is kind of a big deal for me. Right now, everything I have runs, except for the Suzuki, which is taken apart, so that's acceptable. And this 200X, I have to put a stator in the 200X. I think that's what the problem with it. This is the Van Halen machine, you know, the tank that was really cool, but, you know, ended up blowing up on me. So something happened on the inside. I put a tank, look at this. So this happened over 6 months. Look at the coloring. The liner that I put in here had some type of chemical reaction with something, and it got so hot that it blistered the paint. I didn't even know it. I put the machine on the shelf. Listen to it. Hear how solid that is? It's just really weird. I mean, it's completely empty. There's no fuel in it. But that's how well it coated. It coated really good, but for whatever reason, it got so hot, it blistered the paint and it burned the inside. I'm really lucky it didn't catch on fire. I mean, it looks like a marshmallow. So that's a shame, but we do have a replacement tank. And so the tank is on it there. It's another 84 tank. It's a decent tank. The inside is really, really good. Outside, not so much. It's going to come out. We're going to put a stator in that. That's what that machine needs. Pull the stator out of another machine. We're going to stick in it. The problem is it would run, start, and everything does that great, but it wouldn't rev up. And I've eliminated just about every possibility except for a stator. And I think I've taken a couple of readings from the stator, and it's just on the low side of acceptable. And I just think it's bad. I think it's reading better than what it is. So that's coming up on the channel too. Just, you know, a lot of little stuff. But back to what I was saying. Everything we have in the shop runs well. You could pull anything down and ride it. But that being said, I mean, you just got to be honest with yourself. They're only going to sit on that shelf in that condition for so long, honestly. Carburetors are going to get gummed up. Brakes are going to get sticky. Hydraulic fluid in the brakes is going to try to separate. Tires are going to leak down. It's just part of having a collection. And when it's no longer fun, when you come out to your collection and it's a job, and it's like, well, you can't ride that for this, and you can't ride this for that reason, and on and on and on, then what are you really doing? And that's where I find myself now is I was maintaining 15 machines, and that's just a job. It's more machines than I want. So what I'm doing is I'm paring down. Y'all that have watched me over the last 2 years or so, we used to have nothing but hardtails. A 200X was kind of a fancy machine. And then we started, you know, we got lucky. We found some 350Xs, we found some 250Rs, the Kawasaki, I mean, the TRX. I mean, those are, to me, huge machines compared to a 185S or a 200S or some of the other machines that I started on, which is fine. That's an education that I learned from the smaller machines, how Honda thought, how they worked, how they put things together. So when I did get my hands on faster, better machines, I was a little bit better of a mechanic for them. And so it's worked out really good. I'm not, you know, mad about that at all. But what I want to do is I really want to focus my collection on the sport machines, and probably more quality and less quantity. And so that may mean taking a couple of these down to frames and bringing them back up. It doesn't mean necessarily getting rid of them. I know how hard some of these are to find. The Kawasaki is extremely hard to find in running condition. The 86, I mean, this is number 26 right here, y'all. Number 26, still my pride and joy. I know I don't ride it much. It's not on the channel much, but it's still, that's number 26 of all of them in 1986. That to me is kind of a big deal that one was so new, and it came from such a bad place in a guy's backyard. You know, in the tree rows. Y'all, if you haven't seen the video and how that machine came in, it's come the furthest of probably almost all of them. Probably this 84 was probably the next one that was just really, really bad. And it wasn't that the machine was bad. It was that somebody had robbed all of the cool parts off of it, all the expensive parts. The tank, the seat, the fenders, the brakes, you know, just the wheels. Anything that they could part off of it and make $1, somebody did, and just left me when I got it with a frame and engine and a front wheel. Luckily, this was a pain for them to get off, or we wouldn't have that. So that one was pretty bad off too. But anyways, the 86 was just a disaster, but it ran. And that was probably the best video I've ever put together too. 50,000 views on that one. So I'm real proud of that video and that machine. Then the SX, that's the one that started it all right there. That's my first three-wheeler. And so I bought that 3 years ago. And I actually looked at one today, an 85 a guy has. I made an offer on it. He hasn't accepted it yet. So there may be another one of these coming along. But this is a really nice specimen. It's an 85. It's got a little bit of crack in the back fender. Other than that, it's really, really good shape for an SX. And then there's that one. There's the Money Pit. That's my first 350X. And we've gone round and round and round over that machine. It's done now. I mean, it's a new top end. It's a new transmission. It's new wheel bearings, new carrier, new stem bearings. I mean, it's been gone through now, but it's always been the problem child. It's always been the hardest to start. It's bored out the furthest you could take one. It's, you know, it's all that. Code red, of course, that one came in, it dropped a valve. Got really lucky on that one, didn't know what it was. Tore the head off of it and found a bent valve. The valve did not break and did not go into the cylinder. It's a chance, one in a million that would have happened that way. That valve should have snapped off and ate the cylinder and everything, but it didn't. We were literally able to put, you know, a head on it, new valves, new valve guide stems, seals, all of that. Piston and ring, stock size, and it fires up. It's a good running machine too. So the Kawasaki's gonna need some work, but you know, we're starting here and we're going that way with it, and we're about here now. So next we're fixing to get into some more suspension work. Got a little oil leak on it. We're gonna take care of that. The front end is really tight. I don't have any issues with the front end other than maybe one day we add a disc brake to the front. The disc brake is the big improvement between 84 and 85 on these. As for the LT, I just want it like it was when I saw them as a little kid. This is a really complete machine. It just has been sitting outside its whole life until I got it. It's all there. It's going to make a nice machine. I want to set it back up. It's probably going to go through some changes. I've got some nice black fenders for it, but I really want to make it like I envisioned it as a kid. Back with yellow and blue, and so that's what eventually that's how that machine's going to go. But that's it. That's really it. As for the TRX, definitely going to stay in the stable. I really enjoy riding this machine. I'll probably ride it as much as I ride anything else. It really is a kick in the pants. It is quick, it's fast, it handles great. It's very stable, four wheels, imagine that. It's fast, it sounds good. It's just a really good machine. So definitely staying in the stable, not getting rid of that. But if I could pare down to, I don't know, 8 machines maybe, that would be a lot easier to keep up with, you know, 10 machines. If we could get down to maybe 8 machines, 7 machines. But there's a couple still on my list, so don't freak out. I am still heavily looking for a Tri-Z. If you've got a Tri-Z out there that needs some work, you know, no show queens around here. No, we won't ride in quality here. If you've got a Tri-Z or you know somebody that's got a Tri-Z, let me know down in the comments, or probably want to message me directly. You can find me on Facebook or the Instagram. But definitely looking for a Tri-Z. That's what I'm doing. This video is just going to be kind of a catch up, where we're at, what we've got going on. Here's one you're missing. What was it? The 2006 350 TW. Y'all remember that one? That was the one we picked up for $500, remember? So the day after that video post, these are the tires off of that TW. I found an exact set originals on wheels for $100. So I went and grabbed them. Didn't let any grass grow underneath that deal. I found a brand new set of Maxxis wheels for that 350 TW. Came in, bolted them on, took some new pictures, posted that machine, and I'll tell a little story on myself. So I posted the machine, and just as I told y'all I was gonna do. Now remember, we talked about I'd kind of allotted $300 for tires. Well, getting tires and wheels for $100 already mounted. I just had to bolt them on. It was a no-brainer. That's $200 more profit. So I had listed the machine for 25, and that was the first week. I just put it out there for 2,500. And the very first guy that messaged me offered me $1,850. We got 600 in it. And I told him, I said, you know, hey, I appreciate the offer, but you're the, you know, I just listed it tonight. I'm really hoping to get 2,000 for it. And he said, okay. He said, that's my offer. It's good. I said, well, thank you. You know, so it was a cordial, you know, back and forth. And so 7 days goes by, and he messaged me again. He says, and I hadn't had an offer better than that. He says, my offer's still good if you'll accept it. I couldn't let it go. And I said, yeah, I'll take your offer. So we had $600 in that 350 TW, and we flipped it for $1,850 in 7 days. Now that's what it's about. Now those don't happen every day. If they did, I would have a much nicer shop. But when those opportunities come up, you've got to jump on them. You've got to go. And that certainly is how that went down. And I miss it. That was a really good machine. It really was. I was telling, actually my uncle dropped that little Recon off this morning. And I was telling him, I said, yeah, that one I let get away. I probably should have held on to it just because it was such a solid machine. But yeah, that's what we got going on in the shop. I appreciate it. This has been a good trial run on the camera. I'm not sure why it's cutting out like it did. It's been going now for 17 minutes without issue. Half a battery's gone, and we've got still a full memory card. This is a big memory card though. So I'm gonna go in and check this footage and see if it's usable, and we'll try to figure out why it's shutting off. Y'all have a good evening. Thanks as always. I appreciate it. We just passed 8,700 subscribers today. Very excited about that. Thank you each and every one of y'all for hitting that. You know it's free. If you don't know, if you're watching and you like what you see and you want to see more of it, it's free. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost you anything, and it makes these videos go out to more new people. So as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Y'all take care, and maybe next week we'll fix something.